Hi,
Right.
David. I actually read a little bit about your life and I've actually never read about your life before because I've been watching your videos, but I've never really dug into
Well, why
yours.
would you?
I don't know, but I did a little bit of research because I was interviewing you today. But what astonished me is your indomitable strength of character. Honestly, I mean, whatever in life that has pushed you down, whether it was your childhood bullying or the torturous road to victory of heavyweight boxing, or like the near-death experience of the brutal knife attack that you had that just missed your jugular vein, and your back injury, and the alcoholism and the insomnia. I mean, it's insane. But even now, when I hear you say that you've now been sober for what, 1 year?
Year and 4 months today. Today is the anniversary.
Wow. Oh my God. It makes me think that, you must be a very old soul. And it could even be you, David, that
I
this
wasn't before, I am now.
for sure, exactly. It could even be you, David, that this present life of yours is the last, you know, it's like it's the one life that is breaking your karmic wheel for your soul. I mean, have you
I
ever
hope
thought of
so.
that thought of it that way?
Yeah, I've I don't want to come back here. If that's I know not to
Yeah.
be like negative or any kind of way like that. I'm just saying like I hope if that's the case, I would be more than happy to move on and transcend into wherever I need to go.
Yeah.
Um, I just feel that I've made enough mistakes in one life, this life, and hopefully that I've learned from them. And people can look at me not as a role model, but as an example of what not to do.
No, I
That's
don't think so. I think you've shown so much resilience, and just the fact that you've been through so much that I don't think most of your viewers are even probably aware of. And if you've what I think about is the fact that whether this is the end of your karmic cycle, which actually means you've been blessed to go through all this pain, and you've been through so much of a culmination of canceling out karmic debt, from your past lives. Maybe this is the pain that you had to go through to not come back ever again. But your life is the stuff of a blockbuster Hollywood movie. And now you're a spiritual warrior and a truth movement patriot. So that's absolutely amazing. And there's so much to learn from you, I think.
thank you, and I dig the hair by the way. It's like
60s
60s
hair.
style.
It's very 60s. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
cool. I
60s
like it. I
hair.
was just like, oh, um,
Thank you. So what should we start by talking a little bit about Arizona first? What are
yeah,
your
we can
thoughts on
start
how
whenever.
this audit will go? I mean, this is the first audit of its kind in the history of US elections, right?
I think it's gonna go. It's gonna be bumpy, but it's gonna and however long this process lasts, I find it really intriguing that they didn't have the $1 million to come. They didn't come up with $1 million to stop it.
Because we know
Where's
they
the
have
money?
it.
Yeah, no. Well, maybe they don't because if you
Oh,
look at the
true.
executive orders Trump put into place, freezing assets and finances,
Oh, yeah.
maybe that's what's going into play now. So I have a lot of questions about that, uh, but it doesn't make sense to me why they wouldn't stop it. This is the most crucial event to the Democrats, and they don't stop it. Yet before they were just pumping money into BLM and to Antifa, blah blah blah, for this for that,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden they don't have $1 million to put into this. It just makes no sense to me. So I think what's going to happen is a lot of things are going to be exposed. A lot of things are going to be exposed, and I think the worms turned. I'm going to be honest with you. I think we had to let him in the front door, and I'm trying not to use so many words in here because I'd like to also put this on my YouTube, but without using all these certain buzzwords that can get us bombed.
Yeah.
They had to let him in the front door uh, then inch back, but it had to happen because they have to expose themselves in so many different kinds of ways.
Right.
Biden had to show his hands for other people to be red pilled and wake up from this slumber.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where we're at now, and it's going to be interesting how this plays out. And I think it's going to be positive, 100%. And I think the worm has turned, and I think absolutely, absolutely, Trump's going to come back. And whether it's him or they put in someone else, it's going to be. I believe it'll be him, but I believe most importantly, the American people are going to have control back, and that's what's important. And
Exactly.
I'm talking for liberals and conservatives, but all of us, we're all going to have. And once people get educated on what really happened and how this happened, and the evil the
Mm.
evil that we were dealing with, I believe in humanity. I believe we're going to overcome this, and I think we're going to get a second chance at this.
Absolutely. I think that's the one thing. When people know the truth and find out the truth, it will crush their spirits, but it will be the one thing that unites us, right? And so
Absolutely, it has to,
yeah,
because
exactly. And
either
you know, with
you
the
are the line
sorry,
in the
go
sand will be drawn, and either you're for these atrocities against humanity or you're not.
ahead.
And we're all have one thing in common. And guess what that is? We're all human. So I think that's what's going to unite all of us. Is once people find out the atrocities against humanity and the people that are in charge and how bad they really are,
It,
sickening,
it's
sickening.
really strange, David, because I don't know, I feel like the Western civilization, they're just so even when I talk to my cousins who grew up here, and I'm from Bangladesh, right? And we're used to corruption there. We know
Yeah.
how deep it goes. And it just blows my mind that people don't even seem to think that it's possible that their government could be corrupted in Western civilized countries.
It's the
But
worst.
going,
We control the whole world. We
yeah.
people need to really be read the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Oh,
Okay.
I forgot the author. Man, why did I forget the author? But it's a great book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and it tells you. I've read that book like twice, but I forget the author's name. Uh, but it's a book about exactly the steps for how America gets involved in other countries' affairs and control them.
Mhm.
And it's an incredible book, and it's something that everyone should read to get briefed on exactly how the system works.
That's another thing we're losing, right? The art of reading. People don't read anymore. We
Yeah,
just
I mean, I'll be honest. I've been guilty of that. I haven't been I haven't read as much. I wrote a book, and after that, I was like, "Ooh,"
But
you know.
you wrote your book what when you were in hospital? Like how did you write your memoirs? When was that?
I was sitting there with nothing to do. It was back
Oh my
surgery,
God.
and I thought to myself, "Well, I guess I'll write a book. I have to put my energy somewhere." So I started there and laid up in rehab. I wrote the book in 1 month, and I wrote it on my
Amazing.
phone. I
Oh,
wrote
wow.
it texting. I wrote the whole book with my thumb.
My goodness. My goodness. That's
Yeah, it was crazy.
insane. So going back to the Arizona audit, we know the UV lights, right, that are actually being used to, I think, detect oil from fingerprints. But
I don't know. Could it be watermarks? I don't. I mean, there's certain theories out
mm,
there. I don't think it's. Why would it be for fingerprints? I'm sure they've been handled by many people. I think it's more watermarks, but that's just
no, I get you.
my
I get you. I
theory.
think the watermarks, I definitely think so too. I think it was Code Monkey on Telegram who was talking about why the UV light was being used. But Michael Jaco said that the man who came out with the UV lighting system to detect the watermarks was offered 10 million by the deep state, but he couldn't be bought. So that's
Wow,
amazing. But
that
the
is
white
awesome.
hats have had, in my opinion, I think the white hats have had super quantum computers. They have the satellite tracking of watermark ballots and the watermarks themselves, but they have, I do believe that they have high dimensional spiritual beings who are channeling information, as well as, military remote viewers. And I mean, we all know
They
about the
want to see
looking.
humanity make it to the next level. I really do believe that. I think these, if you want to call them extraterrestrials or you want to call them being our cousins or relatives, really, I think they want to see humanity make it out of this mess
Yeah.
because we've been held down for so long in slavery, and I do believe that. I believe there is a galactic federation. I believe that that's all under the table right now. People don't know about it, but I think they will soon. And I believe that you could call them angels. You could call the lower dimensional vibrating beings demons. And there's always been a war between good and evil. And the best way you can explain them in the Bible or or in ancient literature was angels with wings and demons with horns. Bad, 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 good, good, good. And I think they're just our cosmic cousins
Right.
uh, on another on a and some in higher dimensional realms. So, but I mean, that's about as best as I can explain that. I can't go any
No, it makes sense.
This interview will go a whole nother direction. But I do see it that way.
No, it makes sense. And what would you say about the fact that sometimes I feel like heaven and hell are really just lower and higher dimensions of consciousness? Like, is that,
100%.
do you think
There's some
so?
people, when you see people that are so trapped, I believe the lower dimensional beings trap humanity in this third dimension, and they try to keep us there. That's why they pump this shit on the mainstream media so much. They keep you in that lower vibrational realm,
Yeah.
keeping you from ascending into the higher dimensions. When you watch, and I'm going to say this, when you watch shows like the Kardashians, when you watch the propaganda on Netflix, when you watch mainstream media, it's all about lowering your vibration and keeping you in this dense third reality. We are in a heavy reality, but we are able to ascend consciously.
Nope.
And the way you do that is turn that shit off and focus on yourself and focus on helping humanity. If they really wanted us to ascend, the things that would be on the news would be all about helping humanity. That would higher our vibration, as if the musical artists changed, Hollywood changed, and if they really wanted to change the world, and mainstream media would completely change it. How? It would show people helping other people, caring for other people,
And how good
feeding the hungry.
humanity really is, right? Like,
Yeah,
you
and they're
highlight the facts of human beings that are so amazing and so beautiful, but but we're like, we've seen James O'Keefe expose the fact that CNN said that fear sells, right? What else can you?
right. They're not. It sells, but it's not just because it sells. People need to get that out. It's also because it's an agenda,
Right.
and the evil and the bad have been in control of this world for so long, and they do exist. Okay, they do exist. People need to get this. Well, I don't believe in that. You better, you better, because
And
it's real. It's real.
David, like, how can you believe in God? Some people believe in God, but they don't believe in Satan. Like, do you not understand the principle of opposites? If something can't
Well,
exist,
I don't believe in God hanging up there in the clouds with a beard and a pair
not
of
in
testicles.
that sense. Neither do
Right,
I.
right.
I
But
don't believe in God
that's how
like
they
that.
limit you. That's the box they put you into. And then,
Right.
I believe in Satan. I believe them as two opposing forces. Um,
Two levels of consciousness, even,
right, right,
right?
right.
Like,
And it's what's that old saying that Indian saying is that everyone has two wolves battling inside them, a black wolf and a white wolf, and which one wins? Whichever one you feed the most. So,
right. That's so
so
beautiful. Yeah.
I believe that this third dimension is a complete choice. You can either pick to go negative or you can pick to go positive. It's a complete choice.
Hmm.
Every things outside circumstances happen to all of us. It's happened to me.
Absolutely.
And I've almost died twice, and the whole, I can go into it, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing is that I had a choice to make: quit my vices, which was alcohol,
Hmm.
and try to go positive, or fall into the negative slumber and go what my personal hell, the hell that I would create for myself.
Right.
Oh boy, my dog just turned off my light, but you can still see me. Oh, how do you do that? I don't know how he just turned it back on, but wow,
I
come here,
can
Axel.
see you.
Come here, buddy. Look at this. This is my dog, Axel. You want to see him?
Yeah. What's his name?
Oh, never mind. He just ignored me. It's okay.
That's
But yeah,
okay.
I don't know how he just turned off
Maybe
the
some
light
other
and turned it
time.
back on again. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, exactly what you were saying. I think it's so true. And with the oh gosh, I don't want to say that word either, but
Yeah, don't say it.
okay, fine. But when America sneezes, the rest of the world gets a cold, right? So if
Right.
America gets the jab
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
passport,
Don't even say that word.
okay, but the rest of the world will follow. So my question is, David, how many lives and businesses are going to have to be lost or ruined while the military waits for the right moment? Because I understand that.
This is a war. Okay. There's always
Mhm.
fatalities in a war. There's collateral damage. Sorry. That's just the way it is.
I know.
We're fighting a very unconventional war. You can't. Powers that be cannot save everybody. This is a serious war between the nationalists and the globalists. Like I always said, very unconventional.
Right.
They're usually usually globalists are controlling everything and funding both sides of wars.
Hmm.
This time, it's a direct attack on humanity. Everybody's involved. That's why this war is so different. It's not fought with tanks and bombs. It's fought economically, biologically, technology.
Hmm.
They're trying to build this technocracy, and control everybody, control every single one of our lives for eternity. Have a complete control, hold us down with an iron fist. It's
Hmm.
just it's scary. And if we don't wake up and figure this out, we're screwed.
That's the yeah.
But this goes to it's a spiritual battle, 100% spiritual. So you better, when you're at war like this, you better know your worth spiritually. And when I say like watching them shows like Kardashians and watching things, that's all propaganda they're pumping into your mind to where you find things of value on this planet, like money, like purses, shoes, your hair, your new hairstyle, uh, you know,
Basically, everything is that's exterior to
the
you.
materialistic world,
Right.
which is that's
Exactly.
not a value. What's really a value is your spirituality. And what you need to look at is with the war that's going on right now, anything can happen. We can go broke, the economy crashes, all this bad stuff happens. What are you going to have left when you're stripped naked and you're on the street? What are you going to have left?
Just your
Your
soul.
soul. That's it.
Oh, exactly.
And that's the most valuable asset you possess. So that's how I look at this. And take it from me. When I was on my deathbed and I was dying in the ambulance and blood was all over the paramedics and I knew I was going, I was slipping and I felt myself slipping. The only thing I thought to myself was, shit, man, I'm sorry to my family.
Yeah.
That was it. I was just like, I didn't think about the belts I won. I didn't think about money.
I
I
know.
just thought about my family.
And exactly. And those are the only things that matter. You just thought about the things that actually matter in the world. And it's
It changed my life completely. I didn't even want to go back to that anymore because I knew just how, just at that point, at that turning point, I knew right then and there, what really matters. And it's not anything
something
of this
money can
world.
buy.
It's nothing,
Mhm.
dude. And I had to go through those experiences
Right.
to understand fully that there is a God, and this is just we're just passing through this existence, and it's a trap. The bad forces here want to trap you and keep you here,
It's true. It's
and
very true.
and the way they do that is through media. I mean, media, mainstream media, Hollywood, music.
Not
They
even just
lower your
media, David.
frequency.
Like, do you know the way that they take your temperature? Like a lot of the places that I go to, they directly want to put it on my,
Yeah,
on my forehead. And when I tell them,
yeah,
okay, just take it through my wrist and my pulse and my wrist, but no, they want to take it on my forehead. And they
yeah,
know that the pineal gland is the third eye. They know that,
yeah,
it's deep in the middle of the brain. And when people have out of body experiences and when we die, there is actually a silver cord that is attached to the pineal gland of the physical body, which attaches the physical body to the spirit body. And Jesus was the one who said, the light of the body is the eye. He didn't say eyes. And if your eye
right,
be single, your whole body will be full of light. So, full of light, right? So
yeah,
I think he was talking about the pineal gland. That when you activate the pineal gland, you get the light body, and then you've reached enlightenment and can leave the karmic cycle of this
yeah. And I think
prison
that
planet.
I agree with you, and I think that what they're busy trying to do right now through chemicals and the foods is calcify it.
Hmm.
Because I'll tell you one thing: when I stopped making my body acidic with alcohol and the bad diet, I mean, I was drugs, alcohol, whatever, right? All of it. I was just
Hmm.
deadening myself. When I stopped that, I started feeling everything again. My intuition, my spidey senses started heightening. I started getting downloads when I took naps and wake up and I'd have all these downloads, and I was feeling the whole entire planet again. It was like, wow, like this is what I was hiding from for so long. And when I stopped about 90 days, 120 days into it, I was like this new person.
Hmm.
And it was like my antennas went up, I could just feel and sense everything. Uh, and it's not always good. Sometimes you're gonna, you don't want to feel certain things. You don't want to feel nervousness, anxiety, uh,
You'll do anything
sadness.
to suppress it.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm staying strong.
Amazing.
I'm doing my best, and it's always going to be a battle because if you don't think that I want to go off and drink with my friends, and I mean they don't call me anymore, but it's okay. I mean, if you don't think that I want to go with them and party every weekend and do what I used to do, you're wrong because that was fun. That was so fun, and it's just like I miss it.
How
Then
do you
people say,
stop
"Well, why
yourself,
can't you just
David?
do this a little bit, do that a little bit, have a couple of drinks of wine or this?" That would be the reason is because I don't want to deaden my sensories, and I
Right.
feel like God gave me a second chance. Okay, I had two options: prison or death, and God gave me the second chance. And if I slap him in the face with it, I deserve whatever's coming to me,
Hmm.
and that's why I don't drink anymore.
Right. I mean, that is just such an amazing and inspiring story for so many people, I think. And I don't know, I feel like right now, that's exactly what they constantly want. Like the fact that even bars are open, not bars, but just you can go get alcohol.
Yeah,
Eh,
it's the most dangerous drug there is.
And
It's
alcohol is what the Arabic word, which means body eating spirit,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah, every time I would get drunk, I knew I was opening portals for whoever to jump in and to go for a joyride. Uh,
exactly.
yeah, so I stopped that, and yeah, it's not like life gets any. Well, I'm not in prison, and I'm not I'm not flatlining anymore because of alcohol, but life. You have to deal things with your problems sober, and that's kind of tough because
Mhm.
you know alcohol masks it, and that feels good, and it's a stress reliever when you're drinking. Now I have to just do this sober, and that's probably the most challenging part for me, but I know I can do it because uh
Do you think
life
you'd
is
ever
hard. No one
drink
said this is
again?
easy. What's that?
Do you think you'd ever drink again?
I can't answer that right now. I can only take it day by day, and that's the best way I can answer that.
Yeah. No,
This isn't
that's
something that I'm like,
great.
no, definitely not. It's a day by day process. It's a battle, and I have to win the little battles.
Yeah.
uh is there a possibility I'll drink again and have it under control? That would be nice. That'd be nice if I could, but right now is not the time. I have to focus on. Uh, I feel like I've undertaken a. I
Your
put myself out.
purpose, your purpose is way bigger than everything that traps you in the 3D, right? Things like alcohol.
Yeah, I don't want to do that stuff anymore, just because it would just hinder me from doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And I like to feel successful. I like to feel like I'm doing things for humanity. I don't want to feel like that guy anymore.
Hmm.
A guy who was just he had a golden heart. He had a good intentions, but uh, just I was destroying myself, and I lost my sister to alcohol. My sister died. 10
Oh my
well
goodness. Seriously.
May 26th she died. Uh, 10 years ago, so 11 years ago. Gosh, it'll be 11 years. So I
Oh,
watched her death from alcohol, and it was tragic and it was painful. So
oh my goodness. I didn't even know that. That's,
yeah,
gosh, your story just gets more inspiring by the minute. I don't know how you're holding on, but it astonishes
God,
me, David,
there's
that
God.
people.
That's it. If people just believed in God, their life gets easier.
It's true. It's true. But
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a lot to actually come to the realization that God exists and that there is actually a higher being that wants the best for all of us. But it astonishes me, David, that people actually question our motives at times for the fact that we do tell the truth. And with this global pandemic that is going on, it's like we have everything to lose and nothing to gain personally, right? For speaking out. But people are still attacking us like crazy as though we're
Because they're scared. You're jolting them out of their reality. It's like it's very uncomfortable to wake up. To be
right.
honest, it's a very uncomfortable experience. Anytime your alarm goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning, you have to, let's say when I was training to go run 5 miles, that sucked. I hated it, but it was I
Mm.
had to understand it was for the betterment of my career,
Right.
and that's where we're at now as a collective consciousness, as a humanity, is that we got
Mhm.
to move forward, and we have to see some ugly things, and they're going to be very uncomfortable.
It's
But
like
I
a
promise
detox.
you, when this stuff comes out and it's fact, It's going to disturb everybody, and it's going to make humanity have to look in the mirror, give a hard stare into the mirror, and say, "How are we capable of such ugly, evil things?" That's
Exactly.
going to happen. I take it to the bank. When? I don't give dates. I did for a little while, and they ate me alive. I don't give dates anymore. I just know it's coming, and it's gonna be rough. That's gonna be rough.
I mean, the trolls have attacked all of us. But, David, I was actually growing so quickly on social media before I was censored and banned. But I kind of stuck to Instagram because it was more of my demographic in the sense that for me, I really just want to get to the younger generation who have such short attention spans, David. I can't even tell
Yeah,
you, they don't
like
want to
30
sit.
seconds max.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30 seconds match. And, they don't want to sit for an hour to watch interviews on YouTube. And it's the
Uh,
TikTok generation, right? So,
it's really sad to be honest with you. It's
yeah.
that's not a good attribute to have. Um, if you look at like I I try to watch movies today on Netflix. I don't watch it because I see the propaganda, but when I like watch anything, it's like I go back to watching movies in the 70s, 80s, and 90s because they have a storyline and a plot and like everything makes sense and it's like good script writing.
Mhm.
Today, I don't know what the hell this is. This is crap. And it's just enforcing uh, the symbology they want you to see, the narrative they want to push, the agenda they want to push. I can't watch it. I don't watch any of this stuff today.
I know.
Documentaries are about it.
I agree. I agree completely. And I feel like there's just been with this TikTok generation. I was reading that, I was actually sorry, reading. I meant reaching. I was reaching so many teenagers and those in their 20s. And I feel like now I've lost momentum because we keep getting banned. But, there's this relentless bombardment of the media telling us about taking the jab, right? But
Don't
and
even
even
say
my
that. They're on
friends,
to that word now.
okay, fine.
They're onto
Okay.
that. I mean, it sucks. It sucks. See, do you see? And but they're banking on the younger generations not knowing any of this.
Yeah.
And then when they get to a point, which will be 5, 10 years, is where they want this to start the climax of this.
Hmm.
Um, they're not going to know what hit them. They're going to accept it full blindly. Like today, what you see today, would you have ever thought 3 years ago that you'd be seeing what you're seeing today with everyone walking around? It's ridiculous. I've never seen such mind control in my life.
No.
It's scary. It is the zombie apocalypse. It is. This is it.
Exactly, exactly. And the mainstream media lied to us about what zombies look like. This isn't what we're witnessing currently. The people in masks, it's driving on their own in the
I know.
car alone,
Walking
wearing
at first,
masks.
I was just walking my dog the other day, and a lady was coming my direction, and she completely swerved out of the way. Was wearing, and moved out of my way, like scared. I'm like, what a sorry existence. That, but yet she weighed like 260 pounds. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you'll have heart disease, diabetes, and that's acceptable. That's acceptable.
Exactly, exactly.
But a 99.96 survival rate on whatever this crap is not acceptable. And you rather they want to have the authority to tell people what to do. They want to feel like they're entitled to tell you that you're unhealthy when they're the ones eating the fucking cheeseburgers and
Going to
cookies at night.
McDonald's
No,
two
no,
times a day.
seriously, it's ridiculous. I've never and drinking their faces off in the bars, but put on your so yeah.
Yeah. And yet, the brave people who speak out against it all are the conspiracy theorists. And we're the underdogs fighting not only big pharma, we're fighting big pharma, the media, the government, and we're losing our jobs, our reputations, and our
Uh,
friends and our family for making people more aware and just more informed. Yet it's big pharma and the government and the media who are making the billions by pushing this.
right. I always tell everybody I rather wear a tinfoil hat than a
Than a face muzzle.
yeah.
Exactly. And they have all the financial resources to back up any claim or any study that they want to prove their point about.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yet nobody says, hang
They're
on.
all on payroll.
Exactly. Exactly. Like it's actually, probably there should be a study done on the fact that whenever you start a sentence with the fact um studies show everyone seems to believe it, right? So we should just put
Yeah.
out studies out there that say studies show that, the mask doesn't work, but
Yeah.
not once has the government or the media or the medical doctors or these health experts that we're constantly told about, or the health minister of UK in any country told people to take responsibility of their own health. No recommendation
We should
for.
honestly, if you want this to be bombed on YouTube, we can keep talking about it. I'll put it up on Nino's corner, but we're risking it every time we talk about this.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. We'll just skip all this stuff.
Yeah,
But
skip it. People know. I mean, but it's just they'll go after you. I mean, it's
yeah,
we're not through the we're not through this storm yet.
yeah. It's just really sad to me that people. It's the
We
fact
can't
that.
even talk about it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
But did you know, David, that when scientists actually magnified DNA 1 million times, the four protein bases that make up the DNA, no, the RNA and the DNA, actually RNA has a fifth protein, but they're joined together by sulfur bridges that connect the RNA sequences together. And when they went deeply into the sequences, they actually found that the first bridge in the sequence is 10 units long, and the second one is 5 units long, and the third one is, I think, 6 units long, and the last one is probably, I don't know how many units long, but there was a sequence of 10, 5, 6, and then 5 again. And now, if you look at gematria, right, the Hebrew language of numbers and letters, it translates to the letters YHVH. And these letters are actually the common transliteration of the Hebrew name of God, right?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yahweh. And this is an
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
discovery because it means the name of God is in our genes, it's coded into us. That's why they say God is within you.
Well, that and yeah, if you look at our DNA, it's obvious, and it's obviously an intelligent design.
Yeah.
It was created, you know. So yeah, I mean, there's just so much. I mean, it's how can
Yeah.
you not believe in God? I don't know. I tell people all the time there has to be an engineer behind this matrix.
And people
Has to
who are
be.
scientists, every
Because
single
people
greatest.
limit God into their consciousness. They think no, like he's like not a he or she, but like God has to be this. They try to make we try to make God in our image so we can
Mhm.
understand God better. That's completely out. It's you cannot comprehend him. Not the most brightest scientist on this planet can comprehend who or what God is. Sorry, it's not going to happen.
Right. And they always try to make it as if it's a science versus God. But if you look at the greatest scientists in the world, they constantly tell you that the more that they delve into their topics and their research, the more they believe that there is a higher being,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
it's
But
just
really, you just
okay.
got to feel it. I mean, I feel God every day. Like especially now that I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
It's like it's a little voice inside you, and it's what tells you what's wrong or right, and
Mhm.
the downloads you get, the things to me, that if they're whispers, they're not yells, and you got to pay attention to the whispers.
I really believe in this is a new thing that I learned that is called pantheism, apparently,
I've
which
heard of
is
that.
believing that God exists in all things that is in nature. So God is all around you,
Of
right?
course. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
all is the creation. So,
yeah. So
and
okay,
I'm
let's.
not trying to come off as some guru. I don't want people to think that I'm on here preaching.
No, I know. We're just
These
discussing
are just
our
my
personal
beliefs.
experiences.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so honestly, David, it's really hard for someone my age with my way of thinking to accept this blurring of men and women's roles in societies, right? And I come from a culture with very noble values. And in Eastern societies, David, a boy is actually nurtured and nourished by the mother and all the women of the family. But when he reaches like the age of 7, he's actually handed over to the father so that the boy grows up with strong masculine role models, right? And now we're seeing more and more that boys are growing up fatherless. And there is instead an extreme radicalization of Western feminism and this anti male posture. It's something I personally find very scary because I feel like I have to be ashamed for wanting to get married and settle down and look after my family, as though that's something to be, ashamed of.
No. That's why we created Alpha Corner. It's just to handle that problem right there. Yeah, toxic masculinity, this and that. No. Um, it's, you believe it or not, the main audience for our show that we do, Dave Daly and myself, for Alpha Corner, is
Women.
single mothers, single
Really?
moms, yeah,
Makes
and
sense.
they're trying to raise men, you know, and it's hard today because you're being bombarded in schools, media, everywhere. Oh, gee, what gender am I? I don't
Mm,
know. I'm pansexual. I'm bi. You know, first of all, first and foremost, sexual orientation, the whole thing, that's up to the individual. You shouldn't have to learn that in school. You'll enough time, you'll figure that out later, right?
mhm,
But the fact that they're trying to teach it in schools, look, when I have kids, the only thing they need to learn in school is how to read and write and do math. That's it. They don't need to learn all this other garbage.
right.
Um, and single moms right now, especially, are dealing with, how do I raise a man? The dad's not around. And what they don't understand is, just like everything that's happening in the media today that people are waking up to was happening 20, 30 years ago. The first part of the agenda was to break up the family unit. And they don't understand this. Um,
Exactly.
you take something like women's liberation, the bra burning generation, that was funded by the Rockefellers and Rothschilds.
Hmm.
It was an agenda. You take a little bit of good and then you wrap it, or let's say however you want to say it, 90% good, and then you stick the 10% evil in there,
Hmm.
and then they start corroding the families. We could dive real far into this with child protective services, the whole 9 yards. I can go into this, but I don't want this to get bombed, so we will not go into that. But everything is a systematic, methodical agenda from the media. Masterminds, think tanks behind everything that you're given. Nothing is an accident. No war is an accident. No, I don't even believe 90% of the mass shootings are an accident.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for
this
sure.
is all very highly controlled stuff, and the prize is your mind. And if they can break the male, if they could take away the strong male figure that is supposed to protect the female
Hmm.
and keep the female on a pedestal, respect the female but protect her. If they could take that away, you can kill humanity. You could kill the species, and abortion is part of it. So when you start I used to be for abortion. I used to be for it. I said, if a woman doesn't want her kid, just kill it.
Yeah,
Wow.
pro-choice seems like, the social justice thing, the right thing to be, right? But
When you see a sperm enter an egg, if you've seen it, they've caught it on video. An electric shock, boom, goes off. It's amazing. So where does life really begin? You know, I
exactly.
used to think, if the girl gets an abortion the first month or two, then it's okay. Now the older I get, I think no.
Mm.
So my views are even changing. So,
But
but
it's so
then you think,
true,
well,
David, what you said. Like, don't you know how people say that you're not pro-choice if you believe in abortion, but they never talk about the fact that a woman has more choices before the fact that, there's way more choice. You do have a choice, and the choice comes in the bedroom. The choice comes in so many other occasions where you could have had personal restraint, right? But they forget about
I
all
was
that.
never any good at that. So I get, so I mean, I get it. I understand it. But if you would have been talking to me at 20 something years old, 30 years old, I would have said, for abortion, yeah, of
Mm,
course. Well, less people on the planet. I probably would have said that.
yeah,
And
no, that makes
now my
sense.
whole views have changed. And I guess it just comes with age. I don't know. I see humanity as sacred, and we should protect it. And when you hear people like Bill Gates or Prince or King Philip or whatever, whoever it was, saying
Mhm.
that he wants to come back reincarnated as a deadly virus
It's
to wipe
Philip.
out humanity. This is serious what they're talking about. That's how they look at you and I.
Yeah, we're just
So
useless eaters, remember? Like
yeah,
Henry
useless
Kissinger said.
grazers. Yeah, Kissinger said that. Yeah. So this is the mentality, the sociopaths and psychopaths that we're dealing with, how they view us. They don't think like you and I.
Mm,
I don't give a shit how many charities Bill Gates gives to. He's a psychopath. He doesn't look at you with any value. None of us. So that's who we're at war with. And once you identify the enemy, you can beat them. Half the battle is identifying who they are.
Exactly. And I feel like, this emancipation that we're seeing of women has absolutely, to me personally, felt like it led to the ultimate betrayal of everything that is feminine, everything that
Yeah.
makes a woman a woman. The new female is now called what? The alpha woman. And frankly, David, I don't think I'm one of them. And I'm
Nothing
making
wrong with
sure.
being an alpha woman, but
No,
you
but
better
there's
understand there's also alpha men. And
right.
it's
No,
not
but
about
alpha women, not in the sense that we're talking about it. Alpha women are people like, they play violent contact sports. Like they're made to feel like they have more superior. It's more of a superiority complex. Like
right. And they're
it's not
doing
about
that.
equality anymore.
Right. They're doing that at the same time as they're emasculating men. So
Exactly.
the balance is off,
Right.
way off. Yeah. No, I'm seeing that too. Uh, you know, I
But people
just
are people are abandoning, David, their natural primordial instincts to procreate too. Like I feel like we're given mixed messages in order to qualify as a feminist, we're encouraged to play masculine sports and we have to feel insulted by expressions of chivalry. And we're forcing men to constantly adapt to these changes. So now they've lost their roles in society and they're undervalued as husbands, as fathers, as breadwinners. And why are we deliberately destroying traditional men's roles in society? When I think of the word
because
masculine,
you
there's
eliminate the man, you eliminate competition. These
right,
people don't want competition, and they
true,
don't want our species thriving.
true,
So you muddy up the water. You confuse the sexes. You change up the roles. You give 50 genders. I mean, it's that's what they're doing. When you're confused and disoriented, you cannot fight back, and
exactly.
that is exactly
Mhm.
what's happening right now. We're
But
under assault. People really need to understand this. Humanity is under attack. We are under assault.
exactly, it's the very essence of make that makes you who you are, which is under attack. And when I think of the word masculine, David, I think of my father and my brother, but the cabal have somehow made masculinity a toxic trait. Why does one man being violent mean that all men are violent?
Yeah.
It's this shift in feminizing the male identity. And it's not an accident, like we've talked about. It's not an accident. It's all clear that there is a deeper agenda, and the deeper agenda is eugenics and systematic depopulation through the introduction of this new age sensitive man, as they like to call it. And if
Well,
you think about it,
it's not just depopulation; it's the absolute control of humanity. Uh, so that's really what they want to depopulate the earth to a sustainable, desired amount of people. Like let's say, I think it was 500 million.
mm,
That's a lot of people, and
yeah,
then control it from there.
right.
Um, this is completely demonic, man. This is not. I don't give a shit what they say. It's evil, and it's got to be stopped. It's
And
got
if
to
you
be
think
stopped.
about it, like a strong family unit, like you said, is the greatest threat to an all controlling government. But a feminized man is no threat, right, to the globalist
No, they're
agenda.
doing what they're told. They eat their soy. They hire their estrogen. They're not a threat because they're not competitive.
Mm, exactly. And David, I see all these guys, like, right? They're all my friends. I'm just gonna say this. If my friends are watching this, go on, it's fine. All my male friends who actually they're obsessed with being at the gym, obsessed, like, and it's actually an obsession. And I guess, okay, that's fine. But then you're at the gym with your face muzzle on and you're at the gym with your mask on. It's like the masculinity,
I
where
know.
it doesn't make sense. There's such a disproportionate, it just
That
makes no
takes your
sense.
man card right there. When I see that at the gym and I don't even, I don't, nah, I don't even look at them. It's just sad. It's so
Mm,
sad. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's,
exactly.
your man card gets taken away from you.
But what people don't realize is that, their emasculation will eventually lead to them becoming socially redundant. If you think about it, women don't want, as much as all these women talk, all these feminists, they all talk about how they think it's okay that Harry Styles is carrying a bag. They think it's okay that men love to do their nails. But I don't think any women in their right mind is actually attracted to a man like that. Do you think?
I'm definitely not like. I mean, yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, I do understand it because I understand the agenda, but
Mm. It's
women say this, but
brainwashing.
I know they're thinking something different. so, so, uh,
But
I
even
don't.
from a school age, David, like girls are being constantly groomed to believe that men and society in general somehow owes them something. All my friends, like who are women, even on TikTok, every single time I go on TikTok, like girls my age or younger than me somehow seem to blame the patriarchy for everything that's wrong in their lives.
Oh yeah, point the finger at everybody but yourself. It's a
Exactly.
coddle. It's a coddle generation. It's a weak. Like I said, this has been the agenda since the beginning. They're breeding a weak and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker society to where you're just eliminated and you don't mind it. It's a good thing to wipe out humanity. You don't fight back. You're just
Mm,
gonna be like, this is fine. It's fine. You want me to wear this? You want me to take this every 6 months? You want me to drive an electric car? I shouldn't go out in nature. That's fine. I should stay indoors. I should do everything from my computer. That's fine. That's insanity. Insanity. And
exactly.
people better wake up because it's happening quick, really quick.
Exactly. And the West actually encourages girls to put themselves first. They make
Yeah.
themselves feel superior to men. It's all about her needs. It's all about her desires. It's all about her rights. And a man has to constantly prove his love, prove his admiration, prove his commitment. And David, I really can't personally relate to modern day women because I get a lot of my followers who ask me for dating advice, and I basically just see two types of women these days: those who are in ruthless pursuit of their careers, and those which embrace hookup culture or simply,
Yeah.
are
Swipe
willing to
left
be.
or swipe right, whatever that is,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Swipe
Tinder.
right, swipe left.
No, really, that's where it's at now. And it's just instant gratification all the way around.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I've always found girls from the old country, um, now that I'm older, more
Mm.
attractive that have those family values. Americanized women are just not my really not as I don't not not saying that there's some good ones out there. There is. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that uh, I've noticed that I'm talking to a girl right now that's from the old country, and
Oh,
uh, her values are nothing.
different.
Something I've never seen before,
Yeah.
and I appreciate those values. That to me is
Yeah.
first and foremost the most important thing: family values.
Exactly. Exactly. And, to live an honorable life where the protection of the family, the children, the community used to be the proud prerogative of a man, right?
Right.
These things
Right.
are now viewed as harmful social
Women need to
constructs.
let a man be a man,
Exactly.
and a man
That's
needs to let
really
a
all it
woman be a
is.
woman. You know.
But, yeah, David, such conduct is actually very sacred in my culture and in accordance to the timeless principles of gentlemanly integrity. And we're going down this road of hedonism now. And honestly, at the end of men will eventually mean the end of civilization. And while China is out here working to make their men more manly, actually Chinese education officials have demanded more physical fitness classes in schools to make the country's young men more masculine.
They're
So
making the rest of the planet weak.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's all the CCP takeover agenda. And for a
Yeah.
while now, the Chinese government has actually signaled concern that the country's most popular male role models are no longer strong athletic figures like army heroes or just manly
Yeah.
men in general.
Yeah. And do you see how they use propaganda to do all that? When my dad was younger, the way they brainwashed the youth back then was they had them go to cinemas movies to get the propaganda, to get the news. And they would watch warplanes bombing Germany and this and that and make it seem like it's the most amazing thing to join the service. That's how they hook, line, and sinker. That's how they get you.
Amazing.
And now they're confusing society. So the agenda of going to war and all that's done with. Now it's a war on humanity. And so now they're doing it. Now they're making it to where teaching this stuff in school.
Hmm.
In school, that's where they have gone now. They're indoctrination camps. These places. I've always wondered when I was a kid, when I was in school, as I was ditching schools, I was getting in trouble. I hated school. I saw it for what it was. I don't. I'm not preaching for any kid to do that, but I'm just saying, like for me, I just would always wonder why did I feel so different? Why did I not believe anything the teacher was saying half the time? And I just didn't want to be there, and I just daydreamed all the time. I thought it was all just garbage, And I figured I sure hope this pays off for me sooner or later. So at some point in my life, well, I went off to be a successful boxer, and I went on to what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
So it did. But the thing is, this is that passion is the most important thing, and if you have that passion and drive,
Hmm.
you can accomplish anything. And that's what they're trying to take away from us by making this all socialism and soon communism.
Right.
They want to take away that drive and that passion of being that human endeavor, that human spirit to thrive and succeed and get what you're worth. They're trying to kill all of that, everything that makes us human,
Exactly.
that makes our soul want to thrive. They're killing it. It's evil. There's nothing good about socialism or communism. It's fucking evil.
Hmm.
Now, it's on you if you want to sit around on a couch, smoke weed all day, and watch TV. That's your own right. That's called free will. That's you.
Right.
If that's what you rather do, but don't point the finger at other people that are making money and doing well for themselves and put them down and say that they need to come to your level. No, 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 no. You need to get off your ass and go to their level.
Right.
That's the
I mean,
difference. So that's what I try to well, I guess you could say preach or put out there is that no, no, no. Demand better for yourself. Don't make everyone lower to your level.
hmm,
When I was boxing, I trained only with champions because I had to pick it up 100 notches to train with them. If I trained with guys that were on my level or lower, I would never have gotten anywhere.
you're not challenging yourself, right?
Yeah, and that's how you evolve and succeed. So
I
that's really what's really important. That's what kills all of that is
right.
this agenda. So
And I know, David, you grew up in America, right? But I
yeah.
feel like I've heard you talk a little bit about communism, as in terms of witnessing it firsthand. I'm not sure if it was you.
Well, I mean, not. I would go to Mexico. I grew up half in
Mhm.
Mexico, half in America. I used to go there every weekend. So it's like you see what a third world country is or second world. It's just you appreciate America.
Right.
I grew up appreciating America, uh, but I also come from a very educated family that my mom would make me sit down and read books when I was a kid that I didn't want to read,
Hmm.
and a lot of it was on China, and a lot of it was on, it was a lot of history.
Hmm.
So my mom made sure I was educated. So I know firsthand from experience going to Mexico and coming back, uh, traveling. I've traveled all over the place through boxing.
Hmm.
I've saw all parts of the world. So I have that education as well. So I know how great America is and how what a travesty it will be to lose this beautiful beacon of freedom to the rest of the world because the rest of the world should aspire to try to be like America, free.
Right.
Not America try to be like the rest of the world. That's not the direction we need to go here. People need to wake up to this.
And it's
It's
only
just
traveling and going out and seeing the world that makes you realize how good you
yeah.
have it.
Yeah, but I
Right.
mean it's still other places are still beautiful, believe me.
Oh, of
But
course.
I
Of
know I
course.
have certain rights in America that I don't have in
But
other
we're
places.
talking about equal opportunity, which is
Yeah.
something that America gives you. And,
Right.
when has there ever been a country that has prospered under communism? Communism is a panoptic society because it's
Right.
always about surveillance. And now we've got the five, I'm not going to mention it, but the
Right.
network,
Don't even.
which may have been ramped up. But, the possibility of the fact that anyway, what I'm trying to say, I don't want, I keep trying to, I'm about to say words that we're not supposed to, but people have these romantic ideas, David, about communism, and especially my peer group and people who are liberal social science students, thinking that we can
They're
all live in this utopian distribution of
yeah,
wealth. But what
yeah.
about all the other aspects that come with it, you
How
know?
boring. How boring would that be? Gosh, how boring would that be? You just sit around playing a harp all day? But what is it? What do you do in this utopian society? Just, I mean, no. Um, I
See,
think for me, life is all about the adventure. It's all about setting goals and accomplishing them.
mm,
And that's what I love about life. And then actually seeing your hard work come to a realization and you see the fruits of your labor. That's beautiful to me. That's
mm,
that's creation. That's what God intended us all to do. Sit
mm.
around with each other and this utopian society. No, I'm not with that shit.
That's so
I'm not
true.
with it. I'm not with it. It's just, there's some good things about it, but I mean, um, and I believe with maybe a higher consciousness, some of that will be uh, in a future timeline, right?
Hmm.
But not under the control of elite globalists.
Right.
It has to be a collective consciousness that everyone decides to ascend into that, not controlled by a few people that
Hmm.
prosper and reap the benefits out of us being controlled like slaves. Forget it. I'm not with that.
Exactly. I agree. And I think,
But I do have to get on with 107 in 20 minutes.
okay. Okay, 20 minutes. Okay, we're nearly done though. Okay. Um, I just wanted to lastly say that, I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's this person, a decoder called Magic Eyes Only. I've just come across him, but I found out that a lot of the numbers and dates on the Q posts were actually
Oh, you shouldn't say that either.
Oh man. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. But they were references to the Department of Defense, which is actually the Law of War manual. And now this guy decodes the drops, right? In reference to the numerical references to the manual. So basically, he gets these cryptic messages and he completely deconstructs them. So maybe when some of us, in this truth movement, when we gave out certain dates in the beginning, we weren't realizing that we're looking at the numbers as dates and times rather than viewing them as sections of the law of war manual.
Right, right. Yeah, I saw that. I'm not an expert at this.
Me
I
neither. I
talked
just
to
wanted to
Dave
put that
Snedeker the other day on my Nino's Corner.tv, and he's trying to explain that letter in the alphabet to me. But I'm not the guy to talk to about that. I put my foot in a little bit, but I haven't jumped in with both feet. I'm learning more about it. So a lot of those people out there that are part of that movement, criticize me on this all the time, but
there.
I don't know everything I should about it. And am I
That's
interested in it?
okay.
Yes. Do I think that it's credible? I think it could be. So
Mhm.
I'm learning more about it. So got to give me some time on that. I'm looking into it.
That's okay. But I honestly just am so happy that we finally got to do this.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
thank you, David, for coming
You're
on. And I
very
appreciate
welcome.
you being here so much. And hopefully we can do one again soon. But
Yeah,
thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you so
thank
much.
you. And just let me know, and we'll schedule something.
Absolutely. Bye.
Okay. Thank you.